Hey guys. As you can see, our friend Gavin is not here at the moment. He's having some problems with his internet, or should I say Wi-Fi. Our friend Wi-Fi is having problems again with his internet. So we'll just wait for him to join us. But here I am. How's everybody doing? Let's play some Bella Ciao, guys. I think I've got a slow version.
Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao e seppellire la sui montagna sotto l'ombra di un bel fiore. E le genti passeranno.
Good afternoon, Paul. How you doing? From YouTube, Slavomir. How are you, mate? Mr. Tyler, keeping it nice and simple, I see. Fatty, nice to see you. Hope you're well. Mr. Brown's feeling a bit sad today. Mr. Brown, what's up? Brucey, sorry about the Wales score. I'm sure you're a little bit sad. But I guess it's maybe like a plaster, better just to come off, you know, if you're not going to win the tournament. But yeah, it doesn't feel good, I'm sure. It's a shame, actually, because as it turns out, your draw would have been nice, playing the Czechs after they beat Netherlands the other day. I like that. Easy. I hope you're not like that with Liverpool, mate. Just easily switch allegiances. Gift gaff gone, Andy. Gone again? Oh yeah, gift gaff, exactly, Gavin. That's what happens, mate, when you get cheap internet. Terence, how you doing, mate? Oh, Brown misses, Mr. Brown misses Gav. I understand. It needs two of us here. I agree. But hopefully we'll get him on, guys. But I didn't want to keep you waiting. I know you guys are here waiting for the show to start. So I wanted to just get the ball rolling. What's everyone been doing? How are we all? How's the trading going? I know there's a lot going on at the moment. For those that are trading cryptos, you might be a little bit concerned about the FCA announcement. Of course, we're going to be speaking about FX today. And in particular, I think Gavin has in store for us the funding part of trading. And here he is. Gift Gaff himself.
Unbelievable. Don't mention that.
It's not unbelievable though, mate, is it? It's very believable.
Not really. When's the last time it happened, mate? Come on.
Well, we'll ask the audience if they're surprised.
Well, I've just moved into the new place last Friday. My actual Wi-Fi hasn't arrived, so I know I'm going to say but my down speed is like almost 100 megs, and my up speed is like over 20. So it's toasting. It's coming along good. It's been perfect. And then I tried to link up my MacBook with my Windows laptop at the same time, just before we go live, because I was feeling cocky, and this is where it gets me. So it kicked me out of my Windows, and now I've had to log in on my Mac. Now I can't see anybody's comments because I'm having to go on my Mac.
Well, you don't want to see what they're saying about you, mate.
I've heard it all before.
I'll filter them out and I'll at least share with him. I don't want to get him upset.
I will read them afterwards, and I'll cry in a pillow tonight before I go to sleep. Just go easy on me, guys. Hope you've all had a good weekend. Yeah, exactly that. It's surprising how far $5 can go, mate, just when you're in a picnic.
I'll have to do this bit then. So, Facebook user, reveal yourself. There should be a link, Facebook user. If you click it, StreamYard link, we'll be able to see you and your beautiful picture.
Okay, can you make your own lines up, mate? You can't steal all my...
Mate, if you can't do your job, I'll have to do it for you. What can I do? And there's Mr. Brown saying he misses you.
Thanks, Ben, for the one nice comment about me.
I'm filtering them out, mate. I'm filtering them out. There's a lot here.
Okay, I'm going to post a link in the group for StreamYard. So give me 1 second, guys. Apologies, I'm running late. I do not like being late for things when it comes to something that I've made a commitment to. So I'm just going to post this in now. Okay, can you see me and my StreamYard link?
I can. There it is.
And also, more importantly, can you see the budgie in the background?
I can see something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I need to work on the lighting a bit, don't I? But we'll work it out. We'll work it out, Boo Boo. So look, guys, thank you very much for joining us. I don't know what Andy said in the few minutes that I haven't been here, but I'm sure it's been perfection at its best.
Exactly.
One bit that we can't do the show without you on, mate, is your undeniable trading knowledge. So for everything else that we do or don't do, there is your trading knowledge that is pretty much bar none unscrupled. Untouchable is a better word. Did you see the video I did earlier for the show? I couldn't get my words out, mate. I was like, I have to put my false teeth back in, and we'll see how we go tonight, mate. It's one of those evenings for me. But let's just jump into the content. And we're going to be talking about funded traders and the ways. So let's break it down, because this may end up being the first part of a 2-part series. So we do next week as well, because there might be quite a lot to unpack in this. So the first thing is, if you're a trader, whether you're brand new, whether you're semi-experienced, or you may actually be getting funded right now, don't spoil it for everybody, because we're going to be starting from the beginning and then working our way up, which is the holy grail of becoming a funded trader. But before we go into funded traders, there is a couple of ways. So there's either the funded trader route through a prop firm, or there's getting private investment money to trade with. Can you speak a little bit about the differences and let everybody know which ones you've maybe had personal experience with, and then we can break that down further and go into a few more questions that I've made before the show?
Yeah. So I think firstly, let's talk about why somebody would get investment in the first place, or what the advantages of getting some capital from elsewhere. And it's also important to understand, what that comes with, like what cost that comes with. I think that's really important. So it's, obviously when you're trading your own money, the good news about that is that you have complete control. So what that basically means is that you can pretty much do whatever you want with that account. It's your money, it's your risk. Now that can be a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is if it's done properly, you've got nobody to report to, no accountability, and you have free will to trade and make money and keep 100% of the money that you make. That's the advantage of trading your own money. But when you're starting out and you don't have tons of money to put into an account, the risk is that you, and what most people do is they over leverage to overcompensate for their lack of capital, because Nobody wants to work all day long or spend all day on the charts finding these great trades to make, you know, £3, like, or $3.
Hey, that might be my Wi-Fi, mate. Don't knock it.
That's true. It could pay for your Wi-Fi, but I don't think you want to work all day to pay for your Wi-Fi. So the point is that if you have capital spare and you're fortunate to be in that position, I would personally, I would definitely, at this stage of my career, I would really kind of be more focused on trading my own money. However, there are disadvantages, because when you trade your own money, even if you have a lot of it, you can be doing something else with that money. You could be investing it elsewhere. You could put it into a property. You could save it for a rainy day or whatever else. And then you could trade somebody else's capital. So you've got the skill set, the knowledge, and they've got the capital. And it's and it can be a marriage made in heaven if the terms meet your criteria. So, you know, and what it does do for those that don't have a lot of capital, it definitely helps them. One, motivates you, because you're now thinking, well, this is real. I don't need to save for 3 years. I could be trading 100 grand or 200 grand or 500,000 or mil or 2 million, you know, because that's available to me. All I need to do is just to prove that I can trade. So that is very, very motivating, because you know that if you know that in 4 to 5 weeks, you could be trading 100 grand, making 5 to 10 grand a month, even if you've got to split some of that up, that's potential freedom for you. And that should motivate you. And that's the advantage of going down a funded route. Now, I had to sort of speak about that background, because I think that's important, that you have to think, actually, is it advantageous for me to trade other people's money? And then it comes down to, like, you know, a prop firm versus an investor that will just directly invest in you, and that's not the only thing that they do. There are differences. When you go to an investor, you're a proven trader, a proven winning trader. You generally are somebody who is confident they can deliver a result. Now, what does that allow you to do? It allows you to negotiate the terms. It allows you to be more flexible. It allows you to almost trade as if it's your own money. It's a lot closer to trading your own money, because you are basically calling the shots. They need you to perform. So for them to get a return on their money, they want you to trade, like they're relying on you to trade. A prop firm is different. A prop firm doesn't make its money completely on the winning traders. It also hedges its bets, to be truthful. So generally, most prop firms assume that you will lose. So that doesn't mean that you can't win. You can win. But you've just got to understand that they don't just solely make their money on winning traders. So when you go to an investor, if you're not winning, they're not winning. If you go to a prop firm, if you're not winning, they could still be winning. That's a key difference. So I'm talking about in generic terms, not everybody, but in generic terms, that's that model. So we know the odds, 80-90% of the punters that come in is their mentality will lose money. So you have to generally go past some kind of evaluation, and then you have to, like, essentially prove yourself that you can trade, and then you'll get you'll get funded if you pass the evaluation. But that's kind of like the semantics. But in essence, really, what is the key difference? It's what I said before, which is, like, you want to be trading. If you're not trading your own money, you want to go from, like, probably a prop firm to then a private investor. So I've personally invested in traders that have come through the prop trading route. So they may have taken our challenge, or I've seen what they've done in the past, and then I've invested in those traders because I think that they are good enough. And then I can be flexible with to say, like, you don't have to meet all this criteria. I just need you to make sure your risk is under control and you can bring me a return. Simple as that. And everything else, report to me once a month. I don't care. You don't need to be, there's nothing, you don't need to be sort of, doing more than that. Do what you normally do. That's it. There's no restrictions. Like, just trade how you normally would. And that allows them to perform with no pressure.
Wow.
That's kind of it in a nutshell.
We didn't actually know that you'd funded traders as well. So you can literally give us the whole gambit. Obviously, it doesn't surprise me. You've been in this game long enough and achieved pretty much everything in it. But tell us, have you gone down the route? I mean, was funded trading a thing back when you were building yourself up back in the day? Or has it just been the private investor route and then becoming the private investor to other potential traders or traders that you see with potential? What's the kind of personal experiences that you've had along your route to where we are right now?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's so much easier now. When I was kind of getting into it, that kind of didn't exist. The only thing that existed that remotely matched that is going to an actual prop firm, which is what I did, and paying to have a desk, and then off the back of performance getting funded on top of your capital. So the general way it worked was you put in half the amount, they put in half the amount, and then you pay a desk fee. And if you become good enough, you might be able to negotiate to not have your desk fee or to have a reduced desk fee. But generally speaking, when you're going into these kind of back then, I was paying about $2,000 a month just to be there. And then I had to put in a whole lot of cash that they also match. But then there's a limit to how much you can trade, the size you can trade. And actually, in the first 6 months, unless you're Superman, you're not going to pay your desk fee with your earnings because your lot sizes are too small. So then you've got to sit through another 6 months of not earning enough. But what you're doing is you're building up your track record, you're building up your confidence, knowing that your account, as long as you do well, you'll get funded more in 6 months' time, and then you'll eventually be. So it's a massive risk that very few people can take financially. That model is kind of dying more and more, especially with these online prop firms available. And there's some great opportunities. I think there's some limitations with some of the prop firms, which is something that we are addressing ourselves. I know we don't want to speak about what we're doing, but what we're doing is pretty exciting, and I think it's going to really help a lot of people. But that will be discussed at some point. But we are trying to build something to match more the conditions of that are more conducive for the trader to do well. So as an educator, we want to basically create an environment where people can succeed rather than relying on them to fail, which is what the model is for most prop firms.
Cool. So go on, mate.
No, that's all. Carry on, mate.
So I was going to say, yes, obviously we will talk about that and the different options. But it's just good to get an understanding of where we are now and obviously how we've got to that point. But also the juice and the gold that you don't realize sometimes is actually we can learn a lot through your personal experience. So take us back to that time when you first signed up for the prop firm. You made the commitment of paying out $2,000. You have to put whatever it is. So basically, in essence, if you put 50K in, they'll match your 50K. And then you've got 100K to start with. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So how long had you been trading before you got to that point? And what did you have to do to get that opportunity? Or was it literally just write a check and then that's it? They didn't have any evaluation process or anything?
Yeah, if you were going in paying the desk fee you could be anybody. You didn't need a track record. You could, as long as you're willing to pay, and you're willing to stump up the cash, the risk for them is almost negligible, nothing in a way, because the lot sizes mean that you can't do too much damage to the account. And really, you're essentially paying them £2,000 a month for 6 months on their desk to show them that you can make money. That's really, so you're actually paying to show them a live track record of what you can do in that environment. And then you get the opportunity to then get more cash because it's in their interest to do that. And then you can negotiate. And then you can take what you've done with that prop house to another prop house and negotiate, because then you have a track record trading a good size account. So the challenge was at the beginning was like, you know, if you're going in with a £2,000 account or a track record with £2,000, people don't really take you very seriously. Like that's the problem. So on the one hand, it's good because we know the numbers are the most important things, the formula, the metrics, to make sure, because then it's scalable. You know, like your system works if you make sure that you work it. But then on the flip side, if you're an investor, even myself, if somebody comes to me with a £2,000 account, I say, like, you know, well done, but am I ready to give you £100,000? No, because I don't know what your psychology is like. You know, most people can handle their psychology when they're risking £20 on a trade, but it's a little bit different when you're risking £2,000 on a trade. Different mindset. And you know, when you're investing in someone, that's one of the things that you need to make sure of. And that's why, you know, to begin with right now, I think getting investment down the prop trading route, the way it is designed now, makes a lot of sense. You just got to make sure that you adapt your strategy for the terms and conditions. And it's not going to be perfect. I mean, sometimes I hear people whinging about the terms, or they're too hard, or it's nonsense. It's not too hard. You just got to adapt your strategy and actually just focus on the prize at hand, which is potential freedom. That's something you mustn't lose sight of. I didn't have these advantages, like where you can just get funded, be in front of your screen, not to leave anywhere at such a cheap rate. So it's a massive advantage that people have right now, that they can really use to propel their career at a much faster rate. So really then your core focus becomes on, you have to know how to make money from trading. Like that's really what it comes down to. So then it really is like, you know, we say, okay, master your trade and the money will follow. But you know that the money's there already. Like, you just need to be good enough, make sure you stay in control, do your risk management, do your psychology stuff, follow a set rule-based strategy, be consistent, and then you've literally got freedom, and it's there. The door is open. It's crazy. It's crazy how easy it can be.
Well, you've just covered 2 weeks worth of content in 30 seconds. Thanks for that, mate.
That's fine, man. That's what I like to do.
I might turn my Wi-Fi off and save the other $4 that I've charged on the internet. But no, it's really interesting, that mindset. And I know I'm dwelling on it a little bit, but for us who haven't maybe necessarily had that experience, tell us, what was it like when you first went to that prop trading firm? After, like, how long had you been retail trading? What was your track record beforehand? What was some things that you've learned from those mistakes that invariably you would have, and you go, damn it, if I could have my time again, this is what I would do differently? Because I think one of the good things that we'll move on to soon is some of the biggest mistakes that new traders make when they're going for a funded account or for investment. But tell us, how did it feel for you? Can you remember, like, that first day or those first couple of trades when you actually had that kind of pressure? Because what I'm trying to get at is, what is the pressure like? Because if you can trade, you can trade, but it's like anything. It's the pressure under the big lights and it's your perception or our perception of that pressure which changes everything. And then obviously then we start acting differently. So can you tell us a little bit about your experiences with that, please?
Yeah, I think there's more pressure when you're trading in that environment, not just the financial pressure. That's one side. I would say that's one side that I've always been good at, like handling that type of pressure. So I think people's psychology is very important. So we're all kind of built differently. We have different experiences. It's interesting because when I think about myself, even today, I would say that the pressure, I've managed massive accounts. So the financial pressure doesn't really bother me. What affects me more is, and it's a good thing, is the pressure of not letting somebody down. So not letting the investor down. So for me, that's what it is. Like, I think I've said it to you before. My personality, my mindset is I do more for others than I would for myself. It's just who I am built to be. That's where I get my source of energy. So it's like if somebody's entrusting me with their funds, I feel that responsibility. It's a little bit like why I know plenty of times, like you push me to give people signals, for example, and I hesitate because it's almost like, I could get 8 out of 10 right, and the 2 out of 10 I feel bad that people will lose money. So it's just like that pressure of so I know where they're going to follow what I do. So my performance will impact somebody else, and I think that's the bit that for me that I had to work on, because when I was in that environment, I knew that whatever I did, in some respects, would affect the investor. Now, in the prop firm, it wasn't like that because we were almost like a joint venture partnership, right? So I was kind of giving half the money up. I was paying a desk fee. So the pressure was actually a little bit different there. The pressure there was, and I still have this, I'll tell you something, I want to be the best in that room. I need to be the best performer. And it was that pressure that I felt like I didn't want to say, if I was down on the day and others were up, I was not a happy boy. And I felt that pressure every day, that like I need to go in and I need to beat John, who killed me yesterday. It was nothing about how much was going in my pocket. It was all about competition for me at that time. Well, specifically in terms of pressure anyway. And again, when you're getting invested by an investor, it's not pressure, it's a different pressure. You don't want to let them down. It's just like it's the same as before. In a way, with the prop firms, you don't really have that in a way, because you're kind of my understanding of how these prop firms generally work, you don't really have that. So I know that whatever the trader does, the prop firm's going to be fine. Like they're probably making money if you're losing. I know people that run companies, and we know things that they do, the B books and everything else that they run on people, where they profit from your losses and so on, like any broker does. So it's like, I guess like in a way that kind of takes that away. It makes it easier because you're like, well, I'll just do the best I can. But if I lose, I lose. It's not, I know the prop firm is making money. So if I'm a losing trader, they're probably making money on me. And they assume, like any broker, they assume you're going to lose until you prove yourself otherwise. But we have a different perspective. We are genuinely trying to make you into winners. So, our firm doesn't have that model. And the future updates that we're doing certainly doesn't have that model. We are really looking to help people succeed. So You know, and then when I'm investing in somebody, like if I've invested in, I mean, I haven't done it for a little while, but if I'm investing in a trader, I'm not doing the opposite of what he's doing. It's the same model, right? We're trying to help you succeed. That's why we're trying to help you, educate you, you know, remind you of the core things that you need to be doing. And it's there, it's right there for a lot of people. They've got it in front of them. And maybe it's just, you know, they say the 2 millimeter shift. You know, why does Tiger Woods have a coach? Why does he have a coach? He was the best, and the coach is no way better than him, but he has a coach because he needs that extra 2 millimeter shift. And some of you guys are there. You are 2 millimeters away from making 10K a month. That's the truth. And those 2 millimeters can take a long time to find. But once they're tweaked and it's there and it clicks, you just have to have not given up. And that's what we're here for. That's my mission, to make sure you don't give up, because it doesn't matter how long it takes. Let's enjoy this journey together. We're all here, a community now, we're a group, and it's great. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, man. You should stop. Just go like this to me. Stop.
Hey, you're the host and the brain, so it's all good, boo boo. You do as you will. But I mean, I've personally spoken to one of the more recent students, and they, to not reveal their gender, but they literally, it took them like 2.5 years of hard slog. People were coming on the course after them and getting results quicker than them. They ended up unpacking a lot of their psychology, and now they're trading 6-figure private investment, actually, and they're doing really, really well. And it's amazing to hear those stories. So I just want to touch on a few more things, and we're definitely going to have to do a part 2 next week. But as a private investor, looking at when you were investing in traders to make money, obviously that's the core goal. What were some of the top things that you were looking for from them? So let us know, kind of like behind the scenes, because obviously we can watch a YouTube video and people kind of let us know, but I'm sure a few people have learned a couple of things in tonight's little show and talk that maybe they didn't necessarily know before. So there were a few other little nuggets I'm trying to get out of you, basically. But us guys who are watching this as students, potential students, just anybody looking to trade FX, what are a few other little nuggets that you were looking for that can make us kind of stand out in that kind of in that arena, if you like?
Yeah, it's really simple, really simple. My personal criteria for investing in somebody is pretty much, they go hand in hand. Personality, risk controls. That's all I care about. They could be the best technical analyst in the world. They could predict the markets better than anybody, but I don't care about that. What I care about is, are they a good risk manager? Can they control themselves? Are they disciplined? If they've got that, the other stuff can come. Like, you know, there was a guy that was just trading euro dollar that I invested in. I said to him, why are you just trading euro dollar? Why don't you trade other pairs? He goes, I know euro dollar inside out. I know it inside out. And his risk management was great. His drawdowns were super low, and he was consistent. Equity curve consistent. And he wasn't greedy. He wasn't greedy, saying to me, no, I need to do this, I need to do that. Just a nice, steady mindset. No greed, not trying to become a millionaire. Like, didn't care about he just wanted to do the simple things. He was happy doing the simple things. That's what I want. Like, if I'm investing, me personally, that is, like, if I'm that's what I just want. Somebody who's got, like, not going to give me headaches, I'm not going to wake up thinking, damn, he's down 10%, or he's done something crazy, he's forgot to put his stop in. Just very methodical, disciplined, risk manager, not greedy. And then specifically his track record that he did have, not for very long, drawdowns were very low. So in other words, like, at any point, had I invested in him, like, the max loss would have been like 4%. So, you don't know if somebody can take that and then shift and continue to do that on bigger size accounts. So I think he was doing about 25k account on his own anyway. So, which is a decent size account, but you don't know how he would shift if he was doing 500,000, for example, like if he could maintain that. So you don't put people under that pressure. You take them from 25 to maybe doing 40 or 50 and see how they react. And if they can still maintain the standards, then you slowly push them up to the other levels. And that's and then if you invested in, say, 10, 20 of these type of guys, you'll end up with 5 or 6 that stay with you. And you keep funding because they're just steady eddies. That's really what you want as an investor from the investing point of view. Now, as I said before, you don't need to necessarily be that for a prop house, but what will keep you in the game long enough is that's the type of personality you want to be investing in. And so personality, what people say, really makes it. They don't realize they think I'm hearing the words, but I'm not hearing the words. I'm hearing how they say stuff. So I know a lot about that person straight away. Like what they say is important, but how they say it. And whether they make excuses, and how they make excuses, and whether they're blaming other external factors. Like, for example, somebody turns up late, blames their internet. I mean, you can make your own judgments on that. Just hypothetically speaking.
What is it? I need to just put my hand up.
Oh God, no, I'm just kidding. But no,
well played, Mr. Demi.
You'll get me back, I know. No, but it is important. Like, if you're somebody who always blames external stuff, that says to me that you're not somebody who's going to take responsibility for your losses, for your trading. So something's gone wrong. Oh, the broker screwed me, man. They widened the spread, and I was there. And if I keep hearing that's not what I want to hear. Like, I could have put my stop a bit better. I could have placed it a little bit lower, not allow the broker to do that. And it's somebody who's always seeking to find the responsibility in themselves to improve. When you've got that, wow, you've got power. You've got power to change your trading journey, because if you're always thinking, oh, it's somebody else's fault, you literally give away your power. Even if it is in one instance somebody else's fault, you have to take responsibility and ask yourself, how was I responsible? And a lot of these guys that I was investing in, they had that for sure. And it was all, low key, methodical, not greedy, low drawdowns, and in general, responsible. Not over hypey about what they're going to do. Like, I don't want somebody coming in saying they're going to double the account or triple the account. Andy, I'm going to smash it for you. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear steady eddies when I'm investing, because I know they're safe. So, as Theo Paphitis always says, if I'm giving up my children's inheritance money, I need to make sure it's in a safe pair of hands.
Very good, mate. Very good. Well, look, we've come to the end of part. Next week, we'll start digging down into more of the technical terms, what you need to understand of the recipe to become a funded trader if you want to go down that route, and how to put it all together. So we'll be doing that next week. Now it's the time of the show where we break down the FX news events for this week. If you'd like to get that up, please, Mr. Demi, then we can go through that. And then we'll go on to the professional trade setup of the week. Have you got one lined up that you want to do, or should we open it up to everybody watching?
You can open it up, mate.
Cool.
Yeah, you can open it up.
And I was going to say apologies, guys, for not being able to see your comments. I'll go through them.
You can't see the comments. Yeah. I can post them on if you want, mate.
Post them?
Well, you can read them.
Well, I'll read them after the show. But unless there's anything,
no worries.
Let's crack on with the news, because I want to try and fit everything in, even though.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Even though it's my fault that we're running late.
Is that you taking responsibility there, Gav?
A little bit.
I'm impressed, mate.
Can I have a 500 account, please?
What's that?
That's got to be worth at least a couple of grand in an account now, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Share screen. Right, hold on.
Okay, so guys, if you're new to the show, what we're doing now is we're just going to break down the high impact news that's coming up and scheduled for the week in the FX world, and look at it from the mindset of a professional trader, which obviously Andy is that guy. And he'll be then saying, well, these are the opportunities that I would expect. So from there, actually, just because of time, and I want to fit in as much as we can, let's look at what you would be looking at from this news throughout the week. It doesn't look like there's that much, so it'd be interesting to get your feedback. And then let's just dive in, do a deep dive into a currency pair that you would look at based on these news events.
Yeah. Just yeah, I thought there must be some bank holidays in. So yeah, so there's nothing high impact today. Tomorrow we got a bank holiday in Italy, and nothing high impact on Wednesday. So might be a day, a few days of ranging. And then on Thursday, we've got a bank holiday in Canada. We've got OPEC meetings that will affect oil. So it can still affect the Canadian dollar with it being such a big part of oil. And yeah, so we've got Governor Bailey speaking at 8 o'clock on Thursday, 8 p.m. UK. ISM manufacturing PMI at 3 p.m. This is it's flagged as a red. It's not going to have a massive impact on the market. So from a volatility point of view, I wouldn't think that's going to have a big impact. And then Friday is the big one. Average hourly earnings and non-farm payrolls happening at the usual time of 1:30, so first Friday of the month. So it could be a fairly quiet week. It might be a good conducive market for taking some short-term range trades, especially the start of the week. If you are positioning yourself in a dollar pair, you probably want to look, you can use the quiet times to position yourself to see if you can get a little bit of a move before non-farm payrolls, which we can have a look at. So, yeah, I think obviously with NFP, it would definitely be worth looking at a dollar pair to see what's available, either for a short-term trade or positioning ourselves for a longer-term trade to see if we can catch a move. That's one of the sort of ways you can kind of get into an idea with potential high volatility but with low risk, is by building your position up through the week. It's something we used to do on the trading floors, because if it goes your way, great, you've got a perfect entry from the start of the week. If it goes against you, you've given yourself a little bit of buffer because you've got in at a good price. So I would suggest something like the euro dollar or another dollar pair. But yeah, I'm happy to look at anything, guys. So we can do it by vote.
Well, in memory of your Steady Eddie story and the euro dollar, why don't we just jump into that so that we can really cover as much as we can in that?
Yep, I will bring that up. 1 second. Okay. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So since our initial, so we've done this a couple of times now, and Just bring in my thing. So the market's reacting perfectly. You know, we spoke a few weeks ago about the short up here. That market is now had a nice push down, and you can see it got quite overextended. It's pulled back. It's reacted quite nicely on our daily level here and created this this reversal pattern here. Now, that doesn't necessarily, because it could be a rangy market, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go down. It could just consolidate here. So I would definitely kind of consider that as a possibility. So let's have a look at it. Let me see what we can just with that aside, let's work out what's going on here and where it could actually go and what kind of trade we can do. So I will start with just doing something simple here. I just want to see where we have the 38.2 is there. And we have a really nice old support level there. That's acted as support, resistance, 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 support, support. That comes in at 119.89. As you know, guys, that's pretty much 120. I would just, because it's had such a big drop, like at a fast pace, I mean, yes, we've got this type of scenario here, which, you know, did kind of do that and then ranged and then eventually went down. So we have got that type of scenario. And then we've got the other scenario where it finds some support and then goes and tests 120, which could represent a potential nice short opportunity. So let me just take a look at a couple of things here. We'll keep that level in, and I'm just going to kind of see how the market is generally moving here. So you can see there that it likes to move around that kind of pace. So just moved it, but I'll move it back in a sec. So you can see there, market is acting quite nice as support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that as a support area. So, whoops. Okay, can we move it? There we go. Perfect. And then I'm also going to mark down where the 618 retracement is of this move. So from low to high, like that. Let's mark down where the 618 is. See if we've got there yet. Not yet. That comes in at around 118.95. So very close to here, actually. That's interesting. So we could get a little bit of, maybe a little bit of support here. Let's see if that's a good level there. Look at that, guys. See how it's reacted here? Resistance it has got, and even here. So that looks like an area which might, considering this, guys, is like with there not being a lot of data, if there's going to be a bit of a range, then we might get high tests and low tests, and this could be a low test day. So there could be some room for this to possibly react in this area here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flick over to my lower time frames, and I can do similar work here. I don't know if this market angle is the same as the daily, but I'll just take it for granted for now. Look at that. Perfect. Really comes really nicely into that zone. Okay. Now, let me go to the hourly time frame. Let's do some more work. Let's get in. This might be a short-term trade I did today, guys, for now. So let's do our daily trading range. See where that comes in. See how well that's been fitted to the market. And if we need to adapt it. So it's got somewhat volatile here. So you could definitely adapt this a little bit. I mean, the current predicted low is where we're looking, but you could maybe adapt this to like a 1.2. Slightly better fit. That acted as support. Okay, and then I'm going to also do this, guys. I'm just going to find where my Fibonacci D is going down. I know this is a little bit complicated if you're a beginner, but I'm just kind of doing what I would normally do to find turning points. So what do we have? We have the two fibs that I'd be interested in is the 1618, which is there, and then the 200, which is there. So that kind of falls in quite nicely around 118.95 to 118.78. I would expect a bounce up in this zone today. So I would be looking for some kind of potential confirmation. You can use, I don't know if I've got them on this platform actually, but you can use other tools like the pivot point. Do I have them on here? I don't think I do. For some reason, MT4 doesn't have pivot points, but you could add the pivot points on there as well, just to see where, if there's anything else lining up. And so that looks like a decent setup to me, where you should be buying basically in this zone here. And I'd be thinking like possibly short term, like if you want to do a short term trade. And so where does that, hold on, let me go back to that 4 hour. 118.95 is there. So 118.78, I believe, is there. Yeah, that works out quite well, because that could just be a low test. I think that would be a no-brainer to buy there and see if it holds, and then wait for it to go push up. So anywhere kind of here, I think is a good short-term trade. If you want to have like, if you think the market could push up, you could try and catch it back up to here, which is that 120 zone. And if we do the fibs going up, I don't know what that would look like, but we can definitely have a look. Oh, wow. Look at that, guys. Look at that. The 200 extension is exactly on that line. So that looks like a good, well, if you want to do this as a swing trade, so you've got two options here. I'll give you two options. Go to a lower time frame, like a 15-minute chart. Look for it to get into this box and scalp it long. Okay, so you can scalp it back up to here, old support becoming resistance, and just take your money and go. Or you can get in somewhere here, stop here, target here. And then I'd be looking at 120 as an area to take profit, and then possibly even go short at that point. And that's it, really.
Just like that.
Yeah, I will. I can have a look to see if. Let me know, guys, if that makes sense to you, and I will try and find my screen, which I've lost.
I'm on Facebook on my phone, so if anybody's got any questions,
okay, so you can see people's comments, yeah?
I can now, yeah. I just realised I can do that. Priscilla's nice, exclamation mark. Brucey is saying brilliant. So yeah, we got some happy people in the live today, and obviously the people watching the show on the rerun at their own leisure as well. I'm sure we'll be getting a ton of value out of that. So yeah, we are good, Mr. Demi.
Fantastic.
So thank you very much for sharing with us your experience from both sides of the investment and prop trading world, I suppose. It's been quite enlightening, and obviously, like I said, next week we'll be diving in more detail around the KPIs, some of the things you were mentioning there about the equity curve and the drawdowns and how to put all of these things together and what to be aware of. So we'll go through that next week. Obviously, we've got Crypto Like a Pro tomorrow. That will be at the same time. So 12 midday BST, which is British summertime. And if you're over this side of the pond, that'll be 9 p.m. Eastern Australian or Australian Eastern Standard Time. I know there's been quite a lot of things as there is with cryptos. We'll just touch on it. I know tomorrow's show is cryptos, and people that are watching FX, they're watching this, they don't want to talk about cryptos, but there's been a lot of change week on week. And yeah, there's some very interesting changes. I know a lot of people are kind of a bit freaked out about Binance and things like that. So I believe we've addressed that in the group, right?
Yeah, I will. I'll talk more about that tomorrow. But yeah, I have addressed it in the group.
Perfect. And no one's got anything unduly to worry about. Obviously, it's been addressed in the group. If there was any major emergencies, I'm sure we'd be on it straight away and doing a live broadcast to say get out, or something like that. So is there anything you want to say on that note before we kind of address it properly tomorrow?
Well, the only thing I'll say is I'm not personally doing anything at the moment in terms of I'm not being affected by the news until I hear from Binance themselves. So that's but I will be actively looking for solutions for people anyway, in case we are not able to trade. I think it's only on the trading side anyway, so we might still be able to hold positions. But once we figure that out, I will give you guys some alternatives to use. So don't worry, we've got your back. We know how to handle these sort of things.
Awesome, cool. So just checking in on the notes. Dan DJ Booker says, over my head, the reason I took the course. So within a bit of time and application, then well done, Mr. Demi. You're on it, mate.
Beautiful horses there as well to show us. So I thought we should.
Exactly. Registered on StreamYard. We've got the name and we've got a cool photo. And yeah, welcome aboard on the course. And just apply yourself on the course, and that will start to make a lot more sense. So with that being said, we're going to bounce. So that was today's Pips Like a Pro show with me, the part-time host, and Andy, the full-time trader and the part-time host. So yeah, you've gone above and beyond duty today. So I'll have to try and make it up for you and everyone in the Crypto Like a Pro show tomorrow.
Awesome. No worries. I'm supposed to play music, aren't I? Crap.
No, I'll play the music. I've got it queued up. That's the link.
Okay, awesome.
See if you can find where the
I put a really slow version of Ciao Bella, mate. It didn't work with the crowd. I was getting insulted.
So I'm glad you can't find the thanks for watching banner, otherwise I would be out of a job. They just get to stare at your pretty face for the next 20 seconds.
Oh.
So yeah, guys, thanks a lot for watching. This has been Pips Like a Pro, the live show with me, Gavin, the host, and the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Andy Demi. We'll be back tomorrow, midday, BST. Oh, he's only gone and done it. And I know what's coming next. I know what's coming next, boo-boo. You ain't going to get me. You ain't going to get me.
No, mate. I'm very, very mature. I wouldn't do a single thing like that. I would never do that to you.
A funny story. I'll share with you next time, guys.
Take care, guys.
Okay, if you can work out how to press stop, then I'm definitely out of a job.
Yes. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.